going on, guys? Santani here, gonna be bringing you some more Guild Wars 2 action with my level 80 Necro that I boosted up. I did not get around to getting the video recorded last week before my little vacation, so now that I am back and over some food related issues, we are gonna jump into it. Still using the Scepter, Dagger, and Staff combo right now, being as I've not been able to get all the hero points I need to unlock the Reaper specialization. These are those specializations that you start unlocking at level 21. Still got all the skills, they give you all your skills, and they give you all your base specializations when you use the level 80 boost. You have to put in the work to get everything for Reaper, which I'll go through all of this with you guys here shortly. We'll just go ahead and take a quick look at what I have set up. We're running Curses, Death Magic, and Blood Magic right now for mine. More than likely, Curses might be the one that goes away for Reaper. Not entirely certain yet. Let's go ahead and look through all of these. This is going to be, all of these ones right here correlate to the first one, correlates to this one, second correlates to that, and third correlates to that, and all of these are your three choices you get after each of those. Spite, Shroud, Skill 1 grants Might, so while you're in the Shroud, your first skill will give you Might, and you can't, that's just plain and simple, that is what it is. Then you have a choice between these three. Deal increased damage to foes with no boons. Focus skills recharge faster, so if you're using a focus, Spite might be okay from the looks of it. Consume conditions to gain health when you strike a foe below a health threshold. Oh, we're starting this week off great. And then chilling a foe inflicts vulnerability. So if you hit them with a chill, then they also get their defense broken. This is your second one that you're locked into. Inflict vulnerability when you strike a foe below the health threshold. Deal more damage while down. So if you get down, you deal more damage. Increases your odds of self-reviving. Cast Spinal Shivers on a foe when attacking them when their health is below the threshold. This threshold is 50%. Chill your target and remove up to 3 boons, dealing extra damage based on the number of boons removed. So it goes up sizably. 186 for no boons and 650 if you strip 3. So it's a pretty sizable increase. And then constantly apply vulnerability to nearby foes while in Shroud, so that's your F1 ability. That's your class specific ability for Necromancer, is the Shroud. And then reduces recharge of axe skills, deal increased damage to vulnerable foes. And being as axe already comes with its own vulnerable inducing attack, that ain't too bad of a combo right there. Gain might when you strike a foe below the health threshold, again a 50% threshold on that one. And then these are your next 3 choices. Reduce recharge on Signets. Signets grant might when cast and convert boons on affected foes to conditions. To enemies below the health threshold, again 50% for a 20% damage increase. And strike around you when you're entering Shroud with Spiteful Spirit, and cripple nearby enemies and convert their boons into conditions. Gain retaliation for each foe you strike. Curses. Critical hits have a chance to cause bleeding, increase bleed duration. Inflict fear on foes around you when you take falling damage. Take less falling damage. I honestly don't see a point in that one, but maybe someone out there does. When your conditions meet the threshold, your next critical attack will cast Plague Signet on the target. Send your conditions to your foe. Up to 5 of your conditions to your foe. Blinding a target will also apply Chill. I'm using that in this build, being as this one here is a blindness attack basically, so it's just another opportunity for me to inflict Chilled, which which is actually the only way I can chill them in this build. With the weapons anyways. I don't think either of these guys can chill. No. Gain Fury when entering Shroud. Just more critical chance. To take use of critical hits there. Allow you to cause bleed. Master of Corruption reduces recharge on corruption spells. Being as I do not run the corruption spells, I mean, kinda cool. Corruption skills inflict additional conditions on you. It's really handy on, like, could use corruption skills with this build with the Deathly Swarm where it transfers 3 conditions, and then the staff has up to 3 conditions removed also, so it could be a thing. I personally am not a big fan of it. Shroud Skills now additionally converts boons into conditions for your Shroud Skill 2. And then Fear deals damage. It deals additional damage if the target is afflicted with other condition. Basically, I have that set on there just for when I do use the staff, being as it does come with a Fear skill in 5. I think that's the only fear inducing that I have at all in this build. Yeah. But now it deals some damage too, instead it just makes them run away. And if they have other conditions, it does even more damage. Oh, it's only one condition for 814 with no to 1222 with conditions, so not too bad. Being as if you're using the staff and you're using that, they're gonna have conditions on them from your other staff attacks anyways, so. Target the weak. This one you're locked into under increased critical hit chance for each condition on your foe. Gain condition damage based on your precision. So this one's kind of unique, and you want to build with crit damage, crit rate, and then you also want to get your condition damage and duration up also. At the same time, as long as you're getting enough conditions on there and they're staying on there with your condition duration, then your critical hit chance will go up anyways, and your damage will also go up based off your precision too, so it's a nice little tie together, I guess. Cast Enfeeble when entering Shroud. Critical hits inflict weakness. Enfeeble, bleed, and weaken nearby foes. And it'll convert 1 boon into a condition with it. A percentage of your condition damage heals you. And then while wielding a scepter, which is my main hand, your condition damage is increased. Conditions inflicted by scepter skills have increased durations. Since we've got bleeding, 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 and poison, bleeding is already increased with that one. More bleeding and cripple, and then torment. So all of those are automatically increased by that skill, and then the bleeding is increased by the first skill. Death magic is traditionally your pet specialization. Gain toughness while in Shroud. Minions have increased health. Gain bonus toughness for each minion you control. Actually, before we get too far into that, we'll just show you my path on this. So yeah, critical hits have a chance to cause bleeding, increase bleed duration. Blinding a target now applies a chill. Gain Fury when entering Shroud, because, I mean, don't have a choice there. Fear deals damage. I mean, honestly, it was just the only one that made sense. I don't find myself in the Shroud that often. In PvE, PvP, I'm sure would be completely a different story. Critical hit chance for each condition on your foe, condition damage based on your precision, and then grab the boost to the scepter compared to everything else. Okay, back on track. Gain bonus toughness for each minion you control. As you see here, I have 5 minion total, so I get an additional 20 toughness per stack, so that's an extra 100% toughness. Or not 100%, 100 toughness. Lose a condition when you enter the Shroud and every few seconds while you remain in the Shroud. And take less damage from poisoned foes. Your passive life force generation from nearby deaths is increased. So it just means you gain more life force, meaning you can shroud more often or as needed, more easily by the nearby deaths. You're locked into that, can't change it. Minions deal more damage and take conditions from you. Whenever a minion attacks, it transfers conditions to its target. One condition transferred per attack, and 25% damage increase. Reaper's Protection: when stunned, dazed, knocked back, pulled, knocked down, sunk, floated, inflicted with fear, taunted, or launched, inflict fear on nearby enemies. So pretty much anytime you get hit with any form of CC, you're going to fear them. Which comboed with fear dealing damage could be a thing. And then you gain power based on your toughness. Power gain doubles while in the Shroud. I'm using that in combination with the toughness I'm getting from my minions, so I figured it might be a nice little thing. Could potentially do the Necromantic Corruption. Give that a run. I see that probably more useful in PvP than I do in PvE, just from my understanding of PvP and how many Condi builds there are out there. It'd be nice to have your minions dealing more damage, taking those conditions from you, and transferring them right back to your enemies. Whenever you leave Shroud, you and your minions gain protection. One thing you can do with that in PvE is jump into Shroud, jump right back out if you need the extra protection. Lasts for 3 seconds. And I don't know how efficient it would be, but it's a thought. Death Nova: minions explode in a cloud of poison when they die. This effect also triggers when they are downed. When you kill an enemy, summon a jagged horror minion to fight at your side. And then the target area is enveloped in a noxious cloud that poisons foes. 5 seconds of poison, up to 5 targets, 2 pulses, 240 radius. It is unblockable. Inflict a condition on a foe, granting stacking toughness and reducing incoming condition damage. So if you put a condition on them, you gain this for 8 seconds, up to 10 stacks. In this build, we can get 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 total, just with that, if they stay up. So, and that's an extra 730, 210 toughness right there, which will also increase my power. Regenerate health while in Shroud. If your life force is above the threshold, your Shroud will activate if you take a lethal blow. Its life force threshold is only 10%, so I mean, be pretty hard pressed not to be at 10% life Shroud. Or life force. Excuse me. Poison Cloud was fun. I know I've done that before, but for this one I was trying to make use of this toughness and gaining power off of toughness. Granted, the more toughness I can stack, the harder it is for me to kill, therefore, and while also increasing my damage. So, gain toughness while in Shroud. All the minions I have give me more toughness. You're locked into that one. Then we went power based on your toughness, and inflicting addition grants more toughness. Blood magic. This is a lot of bleeding styled stuff, I do believe. It's been a little bit. Yeah, it's a lot of lifesteal, actually. Makes sense. First one you are locked into. Inscribe a mark that bleeds foes when they trigger it and grants regeneration to allies, and you leave a mark of blood when you dodge. So it's a little AoE thing. It's like basically a trap. They hit it, they get bled, and you and all your allies get regeneration. Create a well of blood when reviving an ally. Revive speed is increased. This one I could see kind of useful for both PvE and PvP. PvE more if you're sitting into a dedicated support role, or you're trying to run around and revive. You immediately drop that well of blood, which heal nearby allies, initial self-heal, and then a heal per second, up to 5 targets for 5 seconds. So would be handy. Could potentially save a wipe. Increases movement speed when wielding a dagger. Dagger skills recharge faster if activated while above the flesh threshold. Not really certain why I'm not using that one, being as I'm running Scepter Dagger. Activated while above threshold is 75. Movement speed increase is 25%. Oh yeah, using this one. Cast Lesser Signet of Vampirism on a foe when you inflict bleeding on them that matches or exceeds the threshold. As long as they have more than 4 bleeding stacks, they get hit with Vampiric Mark. Life is siphoned when struck by players. So that was kind of like a support-ish style choice for me, while still maintaining a solid DPS role, being as it is the slot I wish to fill with this character. As I get those bleed stacks up, Vampiric Mark gets put on, everyone heals from hitting them. Stupid easy to pull off on bosses, being as they have so much health and it's so much easier to get all of those stacks of bleeding on them before they die. Vampiric siphon health whenever you hit a foe. Minions siphon health and transfer it to you. Another great way of keeping a Necromancer alive. You are locked into that choice, so no matter what, you're siphoning health when you hit them, and your minions, if you're using them, are doing the same thing and transferring it to you. In addition to your healing minion, dealing damage and siphoning it to you. Heal and partially revive allies in an area when you exit Shroud. Reduces recharge of Warhorn skills, increases the effect durations. Not using a Warhorn in this build, so. And even more siphon health. Vampiric Aura. You and your nearby allies siphon health with your attacks. Last rites, as long as you are not downed, allies near you do not bleed out if they are down. Gain healing powers based on your current health. So if you're up and everyone else gets downed, they're not going to bleed out at least. You just got to find a way to maintain or combat all the aggro and get the revives off. Vampiric rites, whales siphon health every time they pulse and grant protection to allies when cast, reduces the recharge of the wells. So if you're using a lot of wells, it could be fun to use in combo with that, because they siphon health every time they pulse and grant protection to everyone nearby, and it reduces their recharge time. Draw conditions from allies when you enter Shroud, and every few seconds while you remain in Shroud, gain life force every time a condition is drawn. We're going to have problems docking today, apparently. One condition is transferred for 7% of life force, one target at a time every 3 seconds. Shroud Skill 4 heals and partially revives nearby allies. Up to 5 downed allies near you teleport to your location while you're channeling Skill 4. I am using that in my build mainly because I didn't see too much of anything else. Useful because I'm not using any wells. I don't sit in my Shroud much, but in this one it could be used in combination with this to help prevent a wipe if it were to happen. If everyone gets wiped except me, I can drop into Shroud. I won't lose health, pop my skill 4, and it starts healing everyone at the same time as it pulls them near me. I don't know. I've yet to exactly really try it out too much, but it was my mentality in the thought process. Soul Reaping. This is going to be mostly your Shroud-based stuff, gaining a lot of life force. Increases life force gain from skills. You were locked into that one. And then your first set of choices is Shroud Skill 1, causes vulnerability. Marks generate life force when triggered. Marks are unblockable. Increases movement speed while in Shroud. Very Shroud-based stuff. Not my playstyle. Gain spectral armor when your health falls below the threshold. 50% threshold, you gain protection and life force gained while taking damage also. So just keep you in Shroud. Reduces recharge on spectral skills. Spectral skills last longer. Again, life force based. All Shroud. Life force drains slower while in Shroud. Shroud skills recharge faster. Your fear effects have increased durations, inflict fear on foes when you are down. Pretty self-explanatory there. You get down, they run away. You do more damage while above the life force threshold, which is 15%, for a 5% damage increase. Oh, the threshold is 50%. Should finish reading that. Foot in the Grave gains stability and breaks stuns when you enter Shroud. So if you get stunned, pop Shroud, break stuns. Then you can't be stunned, knocked down, pushed back, pretty much CC to get in for 3 seconds. Increased critical chance while in Shroud. And Shroud skill 1 inflicts burning on the target. So yeah. And then instead of going through it this way, we will do it this way for all of the Reaper stuff. So first thing you need is 30 hero points to unlock the spec itself, which gives you the ability to yield great swords, which will give you, once I find it, your slot 1 is probably, it's a chain, so I can't see the whole chain from here. Cleave foes in front of you. Perform a huge swing that deals heavy damage, recharge faster if it hits a downed or low health foe, and the threshold on low health is 50%, so, and it hits up to 5 targets. And apparently recharge is reduced by 100%, so recharge is faster. By faster they mean instantaneously, apparently. Conjure a drill of dark energy on your blade and rend the armor of foes in front of you. 12 stacks of vulnerabilities for 10 seconds, up to 3 targets in front of you. Nightfall, call down a glowing column of shadows that damages and conditions foes with every pulse. Blindness and cripple, 4 stacks of both. Also converts 4 boons into conditions, 5 targets, 4 pulses every 2 seconds. Grasping Darkness, conjure claws of darkness from the shadows to attack foes, applying a condition to them and pulling them to you. Gain life force for every foe struck. Applies chilled and up to 5 targets. So that's what you get when you get the Greatsword. Then you get the Reaper Shroud. Death Shroud is replaced with Reaper Shroud, which has more melee-oriented skills. It does, I do believe it changes all of the skills in the Shroud. It's been well over a year since I played with Reaper Shroud, so I could be wrong, or they could have changed it. So I'm not entirely certain on that myself. Then your first shout you get is heal yourself, gain life force, and strike foes around you, absorbing additional life force from every struck. 5 targets. Quite a bit, pretty sizable healing, 4660. Reduces recharge of shouts. Your shouts siphon health and gain additional recharge reduction for every foe they hit. Chilling Nova, critical hits against chilled foes cause an explosion that chills adjacent foes. Being as it does come with its own chill, kind of handy for all of that, where you can spread the chill against them. Being as comboed with the how my thing is set up already, I do want crit to be critting, so kind of handy to combo those two together in my opinion. Relentless Pursuit reduces duration of movement and parrying conditions, additional reduction while in Reaper Shroud. So it's really hard to lock them down, really hard to CC them, because either they'll have a way to break out of it with how they're spec'd, or they just won't last. Yep. Whenever you inflict fear, you also chill. I don't know if Greatsword has a lot of fear stuff in it, though. I don't remember. Second shout, damages foes around you and gain boons. Inflict conditions on struck foes and gain boons per foe struck. 5 targets again. It will break stun. I don't know why that doesn't say it in it, but whatever. Endurance, might, and might per hit. So, or weakness, might, and might per hit. So you gain might. You gain more might for everyone you hit while inflicting weakness. Damage foes around you and chill them. Transfer conditions to each foe you strike. 1 condition, up to 5 targets. So I wonder if that's 1 per target if you have 5, or just 1 condition that you apply to all 5. Reduces recharge on Greatsword skills. Gravedigger steals health from enemies it hits. We just went through Gravedigger, so... Striking a chilled foe grants might and life force. Striking a foe with vulnerability increases your critical hit chance. You could see that comboed really well with the axe, where you drop a lot of vulnerability, switch over to Greatsword, or... That's the specialization, so it doesn't matter if you're in Greatsword or not. Okay. Chills last longer, and chilled foes deal less damage to you. So this actually works really well with... oh yeah, we won't be using the staff. We don't have Fear and Scepter. Should probably think through some of this stuff through before I'm like, we should try this. Process everything better. Chills last longer, and chills deal less damage to you. Another shout. Damage foes around you, converting their boons into vulnerability. Your attacks become unblockable for a short time. The duration increased based on the number of foes struck. 4 seconds of unblockable, 10 seconds of 5 stacks of vulnerability, 2 boons removed, 5 targets. Duration per target hit is 1, so you can increase that up to 9 seconds of unblockable. Gain life force when you apply a boon to yourself. If you're in Reaper Shroud, gain health instead. Chill now applies bleed. Attack faster and gain ferocity while in Reaper Shroud. Killing a foe while in Shroud reduces the recharge of all Shroud skills. The almost last shout. Damage foes around you. Summon a shambling horror, which is one of these little, basically one of those little guys, except they call them a bone minion for that summon. Summon a shambling horror. Wait, is that the 2 bone minions? Bone fiend. That's a golem. Don't we have the shambling horror? That's a shadow fiend. Yeah, I swore that was one of the normal summons. Anyways, back on target. Near each enemy struck, shambling horrors absorb damage for their master as long as they are attacking. Blood fiend. 5 targets, so you can get up to 5 of them. Damage itself is unblockable from the shouts. 25 seconds, so not too bad. Freeze all enemies around you, inflicting conditions on them. Gain boons for each foe you strike. You gain stability. So 5 targets, 2 stacks. You can get up to 10 stacks of stability for 10 seconds. You chill them, and depending on how you spec, that chill can apply a lot of other things, like bleeding. Oh, Jesus, that could actually be a lot of fun. And it also comes with a 2-second stun with the freeze, so... And then after that, they're chilled. For pretty good damage, too. So, that is the Reaper Spectre in more detail. Said once I get all the points and did everything done, I will be unlocking it myself and using it. Probably going to be running Death Magic, Blood Magic, and Reaper. Because I still like having my pets, so may as well get stronger by using the pets, get more power from my strength, and gain more strength for the condies I apply, and steal all the health. And then in Reaper, just have all sorts of fun with that. Who doesn't want to be a Necromancer with a giant greatsword? But I think that about covers it for this one. Kind of rambled on there a little bit, but we got the points across. As always, if you like what you saw, don't forget to hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And I will catch you guys next time.